This is video 212B, and the objective is to find the area and perimeter of algebra tile diagrams. So we have these diagrams. Notice the top is the key where it tells you what the different tiles are and how So we're going to use that key to help us know which tiles are which. Okay. The lower tiles, the diagrams, are what we're actually finding the area of. So just a quick review. Let's take a look at these top diagrams. Remember, this square right here, it's the same as this square as far as the size, so it means it has x on each side because of the x that you see up top. And it's a square, so both are equal. Remember, the area equals length times width, so in our case, x times x, or x squared. So these are the x squared tiles. Same way, this is going to be the y squared, and this rectangle on the right, the area is xy is the name of the tile because that is the area of that tile. Okay? And of course, these longer rectangles have a slightly different area because they're smaller, but the length is still x, the height is only 1. So the area of this tile is 1 times x, or simply x. So those are your different areas of these different tiles. Just a quick review of area. Perimeter, remember, of course, is adding up all the sides. So if I were finding the perimeter of, again, let's look at this tile. If I want the perimeter of that tile, I'm going to add the sides. So remember, one side is x, this one is 1, this side is also x, this side is also 1. So it looks like I have 2x plus 2. So the 2, remember, is of course from these two guys. And the x's, there's 2 x's, 1, 2. So we write 2 x's. So that's the perimeter of that tile. So that's just a quick review of area and perimeter in general. But now we're looking at more complex figures, just like you did in class the other day. So we're looking at the perimeter and area of questions A and B here. So question A and B, well, those are C and D. Here's A and B. So when we look at questions A and B, we're looking for the area and perimeter. So area is always all the pieces added up. So we have to figure out what each of these pieces are. This is the larger square, so this is a y squared tile, and these two are both y tiles. This corner one is a 1. So altogether, my area is the sum of all these pieces. So we're going to add the squares. We have a y squared plus, we have 2 y's plus 1. That's the area of this particular shape because those are the tiles that add up to make that area. Perimeter is going to be a little bit harder. Perimeter, we have to look at the outside. So let's do that in blue. When we look at perimeter, we're looking for the outside lengths. So we look at the pieces. This outside piece is y, and then we have these guys, which are each 1. And then again, we go along the right-hand side. This right side is also y, but each of these little guys is 1. We keep going. Across this side is another y, but it only goes to here. And then again, we have all these 1s. So there's 1 all the way around this little guy. So all the way around this one is a bunch of 1s. Now the hardest side to find is always the side that has partially covered up. This side right here has most of the long side. But remember, I only want the outside of this entire shape. I only want to go from here to here. Just this section right there. Not the full length. So I want to only go where this blue line is, not the full green line. So we have to think about what that is. And some of you might already know the answer. That's awesome. Write it down and then check your answer here. What I'm going to notice is that the green has a length of y because that's all the way to the top. But I don't want all the way to the top. I want to remove this little section up here. I don't want this section. So we have to think, how big is that section? That is 1 unit long. So my blue piece is y minus 1. So this length right here is y minus 1. Because I don't want y, I want y, take away that one red section that's covered up. So altogether, my area, I'm going to add up all these blue lengths. So every blue length that you see. So let's see what we have. How many y's? We have y, y, another y here, another y here. So altogether we have 4 y's. Okay, we want to remember that minus 1 as well. So let's take a look for that minus 1. So we have all these 1's that we're going to add up. And let's see, we have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we have to take away 1. So we have 6. Only 6 1's. And that's the perimeter of this shape. Okay? So we're looking for the outside, and we're going to take away what we got covered up. So we're going to do one more example, and then you're going to try some on your own and check back for the solutions. So let's take a look at this next example. So first let's figure out what each of these tiles are. This is the x squared, it's a smaller square. This is the xy, because if you notice this side is longer, so it's one of those rectangles. And then this is the x tile, and this is the 1 tile. And again, I use that based on my key that's at the top and who it was the same size as. This x squared tile is the same size as this one. And then the xy is the same as the xy at top. So let's take a look here. Let's find the area. Area is the sum of all the pieces because each of these names is the area. So we're going to add x squared plus x plus 1 plus xy. That's the area of my tile pattern, of my picture here. So I'm going to rewrite that so we can see it better. xy. So that's my area. Now let's talk about perimeter. So again, perimeter, outside pieces. So I have to add up the outside dimensions. So let's remember that this is the x squared. We need to know that. But we also need to find the outside now. So I'm going to go around the outside in red and find each length. This is x. This is longer. So from here to here, it's y. It's the y side. This is the x side of the xy tile. And the y side over here. This is also x. This little section is 1. This section is x. And then we got a bunch of 1's here. So each of these is 1 on the outside. So now I'm going to add up the perimeter. This time there's nothing covered up. It's going to be a little bit simpler. So let's take a look here. How many x's do I have? It looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4x plus I have 2 y's plus, and last but not least, let's see the unit tiles. It looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units going around. And that's your perimeter. So we're adding up the outside to find the perimeter. We're finding all the total of the inside to find the area. So your area and perimeter, keep those two things in mind. Do your best, but number 1, label your picture. So try and label your picture with as many things as you can, and then see if you can find the area and perimeter. Your teacher will be around to help, absolutely, if you have questions. So take a look at C and D and give those a shot. Okay, do your best to label the tiles and then go around and figure out the different sides. Okay, start with labeling the tiles. You're going to pause the video now, and in a moment you'll restart it and check what the answers are and see if you have the right solutions for C and D. So remember, it starts with labeling the tiles. So hopefully you have all the tiles labeled in this fashion so that you can move on to the next step, which is finding the outside and the area and the perimeter. So pause the video again and try the next step. The next step is to write the area for both of these pictures. Now that we have them labeled, that should be an easier step. So pause the video and then restart it when you want to check your solutions. So hopefully you got the following areas for the 2 pictures. Remember, you just add up the pieces that you see inside the diagram. Now our next step is to go around and label all the sides. So we want to figure out how long every side of this picture is. So again, pause the video and see if you can figure out the lengths of all the sides. A couple of sides are harder. So restart the video when you're ready to check your solution to part C, and then we'll talk about perimeter. So after you label the side for C, this is what you should have gotten. Did you get all of these sides labeled? If not, ask your teacher if you don't understand. One of the sides I did not label. Do you see which one it is? It's the one that's a little bit harder. This one right here that has a green line on it and the red line below. The red represents a length that you actually should be able to find. Hopefully you know the length of the red line is y because it's the side of the y squared tile. Now, if that side is y, the green is a little bit shorter. The green side is y minus something. What did we take off and cover up? It looks like we took off and covered up these two little units right there. So it's y minus 2 is the length of that green side. Y was the length of the red, y minus 2 is the length of the green side. So we're going to use y minus 2 for that side from here to here. That's the length of this green side. So now remember, perimeter, one more review and then you're on your own. Perimeter is the length of all the sides added up. So we're going to add up all of the sides around the outside. So we go about and we find all of the y's. And we see 6 y's. So our perimeter is 6y plus the next type of side. And it looks like the next type of side is all these little units. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, but we got to take away 2. Don't forget that take away 2. So we have 4, take away 2. So our perimeter is 6y plus 2 because we had 4, take away 2, which gives me 2. This is my perimeter, and this is my area. Now it's your turn to try the perimeter on this side for question D. Remember, first you have to go around and find all the outside lengths, and then you have to add them up. So after you finish finding the perimeter of this one, your job is to move on and finish the worksheet. So there's 4 more pictures, E, F, G, H on the back. So do those 4 questions on the back all by yourself, asking your teacher or your classmate if you have questions. But teacher will be around to help you. Do your best, and at least start by labeling every single picture, every single tile in the picture.